About expectations, you won a Grand Prix, of course, last year at Monza. How high can you raise the bar this year?
I gotta.
Needs to zoom in a bit closer.
Oh, it's a bit further out now. Just can't look at the TV. It's really close. As you can see, I have a good skincare routine. What was the usual expectation question. I mean, really, who knows? Who knows for this year? There is certainly the expectation is excitement. I had a bit of a peek over the start-finish straight this morning and saw pretty much every car, and they look good. They look really good on track. So, yeah, obviously, just excited to see what racing, the year produces, and of course, personally, would love another top step or two. So, yeah, that's obviously what we'll work towards.
Thank you, Daniel.
It is exciting. I think the more years you do, less excited you are to test and the more excited you are to go racing. But it's definitely the most excited I've been in a while to go winter testing. And as you say, like the curiosity to see what direction teams have gone. And as I said, just visually, the cars look really cool. And they're just just the whole stance of them this year as well. We saw for a long time, like high rear ride heights, this sort of stuff. So that it all seems to be just a different way for this year. So even just seeing the philosophies around that is cool. And even stuff like renders compared to real, that's quite exciting to see now the cars on track, how they actually look for the first time. We had a filming day here, so yeah, it's definitely a little more tricky. There's just more in the way, and I think as well it's another thing with F1. Obviously, it's a very unrelatable sport because no one can jump in the car and really experience what it's like. But also, even like a lot of onboard cameras are from the top, so you see so much more. So you might think you're riding with the driver, but you're not really getting like the driver's point of view. Actually, they did test a few cameras last year, but anyway, my point is you don't see that much. Period. So this year, you see less again, but you also get used to it, and you just find reference points and things like this. So it is something that gets easier over time, but it probably hasn't been that great since the old days where they were sitting right at the front of the car and a lot higher.
Daniel, will this visibility or lack of make wheel-to-wheel racing harder?
I guess I also don't say it kind of negatively. I think it's just kind of part of what we do, and it's something we get used to. So yeah, it's just I think it is something we'll get used to. I mean, there is always kind of blind spots in the car, so you have to use a lot of your intuition as well when you're racing side by side. But I think also that kind of creates sometimes like the art of a good battle. So you kind of use your other instincts or rely on other things to kind of pull off a move or defend well. So I think there'll be a bit more for us to adjust to, especially in the first, let's say the early days of 2022. But maybe by a couple races in, we'll be like, we don't really feel it anymore.
At the end of last year was some question marks about the racing rules and who had the right to racing room, how much room had to be left on the exit of corners and entries of corners. Do you think, as we have some new race directors this year, it's an issue that can be addressed, and do we need to go to some proper kind of racing rules and definitions of who has rights to corners so there's less confusion among kind of the fans as well?
Daniel?
Not much more to say, I think. It's always, it's never that, I think as Checo says, it's never that easy as well, because also, you've then got, I think probably amongst all of us drivers, we're probably in line with what we think is like, let's say the way to go racing, but there will still be a bit of a difference of also what's kind of forcing and what's not. So it's even between us, it's not always that straightforward. So it's, not an easy job, but I think, if there is some, at least that kind of level of consistency, then that's all we can ask. And then we know a little bit better, let's say what's right from wrong. That's it.